Buongiorno, good morning. So thank you for this great opportunity to speak to you today a little bit about IACLE. IACLE is the International Association of Contact Lens Educators, and like the BCLA, we're very proud to be involved with this Congress. I'm very proud to be involved with optometry in Italy. IACLE does have members in Italy. I think we have about 14 members, and some of them are in this room today. And we're an organization that is primarily aimed at membership from educators, so people who teach in contact lenses. They don't have to be only university teachers. They can be teachers who work with one optical chain, one optical group. They can be teachers who work in the big companies. I know that a lot of the contact lens manufacturers, like Johnson & Johnson and Alcon, CooperVision, they encourage their professional services team to become members of IACLE, because those people are also involved in teaching practitioners. So IACLE gets its sponsorship from those contact lens manufacturers. And the history of IACLE started with Bausch & Lomb. Bausch & Lomb, approximately 35 years ago, started a European meeting of contact lens teachers. People like Nathan Ephron, Brian Holden, Luigi Lapello was involved, many others as well, Desmond Fon, etc. And they invited them together to have discussions about contact lens education. And Brian Holden, who passed away last year, had the idea that we should make this a more formal organization. And he invited the other contact lens companies to become involved. So CooperVision and Alcon and Johnson & Johnson all became sponsors of IACLE. And then it became truly global. The manufacturers want to sell more contact lenses. That's their business. But they know that they want to sell contact lenses in a safe way, so they want to make sure the patients are protected. And how can they do this? Is through education. So if they feel the practitioners have a good level of education, they know their patients will be safe. So IACLE really aims to educate educators. That's our main role. We do this through what we call our strategic initiatives. Now, I'm not going to talk about the strategic initiatives because that's something more for the teachers, but I will say this point, and this is our mission statement. And IACLE is dedicated to raising the standard of contact lens education. That's the first point. We want to raise the standard of education in contact lenses, so if you're a patient and you travel to Brazil, you know that if you see a contact lens practitioner there who has some involvement with IACLE, because their teacher was a teacher from IACLE, then you know that you will be treated the same way and with the same safety if you went to a clinic in the USA or China or India or Italy. So the practitioners are trying to work at the same level based on the same level of education. And also in Europe, for example, the European Academy of Optometry and Optics uses the IACLE syllabus as its benchmark for contact lens education. So they tell the institutions who are involved in the European Academy, if you want to teach contact lenses, this is the standard. We follow the IACLE standard of education. Our membership is split into regions. Here we fall into the region of Europe, Africa and Middle East. We have the Americas region, which is Latin America and North America, including Canada. And we have Asia Pacific. Asia Pacific is the biggest region. By population also, it's the biggest region. And we have most members there. Also, we know that the education standards are probably less adequate in some of those areas. And so we treat those as what we call priority countries. The priority countries are India, China, Taiwan, Korea, Russia, those type of countries. In Europe, the priority countries would be Germany, Poland, Italy, those type of countries. In Latin America, Brazil, Mexico, Colombia. So I'll skip through some of these slides. We have nearly 1,000 members, and these members are split into three categories. What we call educator members, and these are members who are only involved in education. So they are only working in a university or a college or a school. Then we have associate members, and these are members who have some time in practice and some time in a university or a college. And then we have industry members who have a job with a company like Johnson & Johnson, Supervision, and they also do some teaching. So we have 3 levels of membership. And you can see from the chart that approximately 2/3 of the members are full-time educator members. But for example, in Korea, many of the teachers in the university also have jobs in their own clinics or with a big company. We also have country representatives, and Pietro mentioned that we met with the educators on Saturday. Approximately 35, 40 content lens teachers met on Saturday here. And one of the outcomes of that meeting was that we should have a country representative in Italy. And I think that will be the next stage of IACLE in Italy, to have a country representative and then to meet maybe twice a year, maybe at this Congress and maybe at the November Contact Lens Congress or something like this. So the teachers can get together and they can share ideas so that the students, whichever school they attend, will get the same standard of good contact lens education. The contact lens material that we have, at the moment, we have some translation in different languages. We don't have a translation in Italian, but I think this will come. Giorgio Righetti very kindly offered to help with the translation of our material into Italian, so we will talk to him further about that. We also have a fellowship exam. This is a little bit different to the BCLA fellowship exam because this exam is a written exam, but it's only for members who are involved in education, so it's not really for practitioners. But if you're a practitioner who's also teaching, you can become a fellow of IACLE and become a member of IACLE. The fellowship exam runs every 2 years. The last one was in November 2015. I have the results from November 2013, where we had nearly 200 people and 50% of those people passed. I don't have the data for the last exam, but I know that it was slightly less people passed, maybe 40% of the people who took the exam passed. So once you take the exam and you're a member, you can become a FIACLE. And a FIACLE is a fellow of the International Association of Contact Lens Educators. And once people become FIACLE, many of the big companies, when they need contact lens teachers, they will ask us, can you give us the list of people who are FIACLEs in this country? For example, I was in Korea in January, and the big companies wanted to sponsor that Congress. And they asked us, who are the FIACLEs in Korea? We want to ask them to give presentations on our behalf. So Supervision and Johnson & Johnson and Bausch & Lomb and Alcon, they contacted the FIACLE people in Korea to make presentations for those companies. And they were paid by those companies to make those presentations. We have something called the student trial exam, which is quite a useful exercise for students, but also for teachers and the institutions. And the blue bars show the number of people who took part in this exam, and the red are the people who passed the exam. But this is an exam which the students take as a revision exam, and it's divided into different sections. One section will be soft lenses, one section gas permeable lenses, one section complications, one section on anatomy, and things like this, and contact lens solutions, etc. And at the end of the exam, each student will get a report on their percentage in each section, so they know which sections they are weak. So, for example, the student may get 90% in complications and 50% in contact lens solutions and 30% in soft lens fitting. So they know that they have to revise more in soft lens fitting. And also the university gets a similar report. And the university report says the same, that your students were overall below the average in this area. So you should concentrate more teaching on that area. So it's a very useful exercise for us teachers because we can identify which areas our students overall are weak, and we can make sure that we focus on those weaker areas to help them maintain a good standard. We have these IACLE resource centres where our material is available, our videos, lectures, textbooks, and pictures and JPEGs, and those are free for people to use who are members. And if you are a new contact lens teacher in a university or in a company or in an optical shop, and you need to have some slides on toric lens fitting, if you're a member of IACLE, we have lectures on toric lens fitting. You can use our lecture, you can use the slides you want. And you won't use all the slides, but you will use the best ones that you think are suitable for your lecture. We had last year our 3rd World Congress. The first one was 1994, the second one in 2001, and this was the 3rd one in 2015. And it was held in Manchester, and the vice president at that time was Phil Morgan. You can see his picture on the right-hand corner. And we had about 100 and just over 100 people attend from 30 countries. And IACLE paid for those people to travel, they paid their accommodation and their registration fees at this meeting. And there were some people who were unable to attend. You can see in the bottom middle picture there is Yves van der Warp. You may know him from the Netherlands. He's a well-known contact lens teacher teaching gas permeable and scleral lenses mainly. And he was unable to attend, and so he actually listened to the lecture on our web platform. And he was able to listen to the whole 3 days of lectures and also participate, so he could send questions. So we had this live link up to members who wanted to attend from further away. The last thing we also do are the IACLE Awards. And we give an award for the Contact Lens Educator of the Year. And we have this in each region. We also have, and this person is the person who wins this award will have the opportunity to travel to an international conference. This year, the winners are going to the American Academy of Optometry conference. And in the European region, the first winner, in fact, was Yves van der Warp, who I mentioned already, from the Netherlands. The second winner, you may also know his name, Helmer Schweizer. He's working for Alcon and lives in Switzerland, and he's very heavily involved in contact lens education, especially in the Eastern European countries. And the third winner, which is only our 3rd year of running, this year was actually Professor James Wolffsohn, and we acknowledged his contribution to contact lens education this year. We have another award which we call the Travel Award. And this award is for new teachers who usually they don't have the resources to attend a conference. And we try to help them to attend a congress. And last year we had this gentleman at the end. His name is Dumpathi Srikanth, and he works in Hyderabad in India. And he didn't have the resources to attend a congress, and so he attended the BCLA Congress last year. This year, we have a lady from Jordan, and she'll be going to America in November, to the American Academy Congress. And the other award I'm going to mention is the Lifetime Achievement Award. IACLE has, in its current guise, a history of 29 years. The first president was Brian Holden, and the second president was Debbie Sweeney, who worked with Brian Holden very closely. And the third president is me. So in the 29 years, we've only had 3 presidents. In fact, although we have elections every 2 years, we're a little bit more like a dictatorship. So once you're a president, you stay for a very long time. Our vice president originally was Desmond Fonn, and he was vice president for about 20 years. And last year we acknowledged his contribution to IACLE because he was really powerful and pioneering and enthusiastic about the World Congress, about our lecture slides, and he was the person who pushed a lot of the IACLE initiatives forward, but he didn't ever take the presidency. He always was sitting in the background, but pushing everything forward. And he was the first recipient last year in Manchester.